briefings together now, and I think our participants are interested in learning a little bit more about you. Can you tell us a little bit about your background? Where did you grow up?
I'm a Jerusalemite. I'm a fourth-generation Jerusalemite. My ancestors lived in the old city of Jerusalem in the 1800s. My grandfather was the chief rabbi of the Yochanan ben Zakkai Sephardic synagogue in the old city of Jerusalem. My mother's side, I'm coming from a Turkish/Kurdish Iraqi region.
Wonderful. What made you start doing this type of work? And what were you doing prior to starting inside the Middle East?
Well, growing up in Jerusalem, I grew up in the 60s. As a little boy, we used to play outdoor, and all the games had these strange names. Later on, when I became fluent in Arabic, I realized that the names was basically a combination of Hebrew and Arabic, because it's all around us in Jerusalem, Jews and Arabs, and so. And also my grandfather, my mother's father, he came from Iraq as a young man. Obviously, he was fluent in Arabic. So Arabic was all around me all the time, so it was very almost natural for me to be intrigued and interested to learn more about this environment around me.
Good. I know you just mentioned about speaking fluent Arabic, which does really inform your analysis and has provided all of us with such insights on the briefings. Could you say a little bit more? You talked about knowing Arabic growing up, but a little bit more how you learned to be fluent and what made you decide to continue to invest in it.
Well, when I was drafted to the IDF, I was drafted to intelligence, and that was the first encounter with this whole Arab world, and it was partly including also Arabic. But later on, I wanted to be an educator, a teacher, so I went to university and I studied, and I studied also Arabic. But then, life happens. And so my next positions were actually in intelligence and policy maker, dealing with the Arab world, and most of my positions were engaged in a very intimate, direct connection with Arab communities. The meaning of that is that I was practicing Arabic almost every day of my life, constantly, to the point I almost became schizophrenic. Because, in the morning I went out and I'm speaking Arabic, and at the end of the day I'm going back and I'm speaking in Hebrew, and it's kind of like getting but that's the best way to learn language, out there on the streets. So that's the major way I learned Arabic.
Great. I know that you and I are spending a year in the United States, traveling and speaking with different audiences. Whoops, something happened.
You're good.
You're back.
Tell us a little bit about this experience.
Well, this is very significant. It started actually in the last tour. We were in the States. We had a lot of requests. We couldn't respond for speaking, and then we came back to our board. We have the NGO in the States, inside the Middle East, and we said, look, this is the time we need to be in the State, because people are craving for understanding and knowledge. And luckily, we had a great two partnership, one with the JCC Association, and the other one is with Hillel. So we arrived in the States in September 11th. That's one day to come to the States. And haven't been there, and since then we have been doing almost 40 events.
Wow.
For JCCs as well as for Hillel chapters. This is very meaningful experience. We are meeting with the students, we are meeting with the communities, and you could see that people are just really craving for the knowledge. This is a very significant mission. It's an educational mission. And we hope to continue that, because we are supposed to be in North America until May or June 2025. This is our personal commitment to be in this very critical juncture.
Yeah, that's really exciting. Thank you. Yes, I had one question before we break to do your presentation. Could you say a little bit more about Inside the Middle East? I know everyone has a brochure, but what are I know there's a lot of different components. What do you find the most meaningful of the work related to Inside the Middle East?
It's providing this apolitical, contextualized and nuanced knowledge about the Middle East. Something that is totally missing. I mean, it's the discussion in the West, the media, the intellectual discussion, the academic is very much suffocated with lots of narratives and buzzwords and slogans, but the whole real essence of education is missing, and there is a lot of need to really understand this many complex of this complex region, this complex reality. And so in our work for more than a decade, we worked with students all the way up with capital, senior staffers in the capital, and policymakers and journalists, and we learned time and again how significant it is for people, particularly in the age of social media and so on, to really get much more nuanced, contextualized political understanding of complex reality. This is what we are doing.
Well, that is what I really value about your presentations
Thank
and
you.
your briefings. So with that, I'm gonna leave the stage and have you
Thank you.
go to the podium and I'll come back.
Thank you.